I've been having some huge problems within the business recently, and it's with a couple of things which I'm about to explain in this video. Now, although these situations are extremely unfortunate, rather annoying, I just want to note that this is business. This happens, first of all of the time. This is probably one of the worst things that's happened to me so far in business, so stick around because I'm sharing some real insights of how business actually is. That's the first thing. And second of all, it's actually kind of my fault. As hard as that is to say, it completely is. You as a business owner are responsible for everything, and you have to take that responsibility on. So therefore, also as you're watching this video, you may think, oh, this is BS, this is rather annoying, you know, that's horrible for you. It is my fault at the end of the day, and you have to take responsibility for it, unfortunately. Even as hard as it may be, and as hard as that may be to deal with. So let's get into the video. As you all know, I have an Amazon FBA business. It's going very, very well. We've continued to grow year on year over the past 4 years, and we're actually living and breathing this business. And as you grow, you need to come over these obstacles, and you need to solve certain problems to actually get to where you want to be or get to where you need to be. And one of the main things is sort of delegation and systemization of things within the business. Now, you can hire staff members to do a lot of things, and it's fantastic. Hiring staff members is awesome. However, I believe when you start to scale your operations, it goes beyond just hiring staff members. You need to start thinking of more efficient and more effective ways on doing things. So, for example, prep is the biggest part of an Amazon FBA business, okay? It quite literally is. You have to pack your products, you have to FNSKU label them. Especially if you're doing wholesale, right? You need to label them, you need to bundle them together and all these types of things, okay? And what does that take? A lot of time. So if you're doing it all by yourself, or you've got multiple employees doing it, which I have, you need to start tweaking the actual process itself for how people actually pack. Everything from inbound, everything from shipment creation, everything from just bundling the products in the poly bag, from weighing the boxes, everything. You need to be thinking, how can I make this better? How can I make this faster? Because there's only so fast that an employee can be, and there's only so long an employee can work. So therefore, there's always going to be limitations. Yes, you can keep on hiring and hiring and hiring and hiring, but that means as you grow, it's just going to be more cost, more cost, more cost, more cost, more cost. So you need to then think, how can I actually sustainably grow and not have those costs go up so much? Because we, for the longest time, we've just, as we've grew, our expenses have also grew. And yes, that is simply business. As you grow, your expenses are gonna grow, but there are ways to do it a little bit more sustainably and helping yourselves out. So therefore, I was hit with two options. Prep was taking a hell of a lot of time. I could have, one, invested massively into the systems and operations of how things are actually packed. And this is all the boring details. I could have went really deep into getting specially made packing tables, spent thousands and thousands of pounds on, like, for example, rollers on packing tables, conveyor belts underneath so things can go back underneath, and this, that, and the other. Really specially made, custom built stuff, which ultimately made packing streams. So for example, people unbox the products, people then polybag things up, people then FNSKU label them, they then box it up. I could have went all out. I could have hired people. I could have got like special people in to like make this stuff, all these types of things. I really tweaked the process to make things, you know, extremely efficient, extremely systemized, and have a solid process, which I don't think it's a bad idea at all. And I think this is something I may actually do in the future. However, this isn't something that I did, okay? Due to the nature of our business and something that we do within our business, which makes up 70–80% of it, we decided to go down the route of buying machinery for our business. So essentially, the machine does everything for you. You know, everything from the packing and the bundling together, the labeling and stuff like this. A lot of it's done by a machine. Obviously, you need somebody to operate a machine, and then also when the machine's done the process, you need someone on the other side of the machine, maybe like boxing things up. You can get machines to box things up as well, right? But I haven't got hundreds of thousands of pounds to spend on the machine. But yeah, we went down the route of getting the machine, and this is where this whole story starts. So this all started, I'd say, in September 2024. We started doing some research on getting a machine, and we came across a company. It was my dad actually sent me this company. He sent me some of their machines. They look very good, and we had some back and forth email exchanges with them. They're UK based. Everything seemed fantastic at the time, and you know, fast forward a couple of weeks, we got a finance agreement, okay? So we agreed to buy this certain machine on the basis that it will be 3 to 4 weeks, and they need to install the machine and things like this, and it'll take 3 to 4 weeks, okay? We were working on the basis of this. They sent us the quote, they sent us the invoice, and we paid it. We got finance for it, and we've been paying ever since, you know, 600-ish pounds per month. Now, the machine has literally just arrived only a couple days ago, right? And let me carry on explaining, okay? So 3 to 4 weeks, they said it will be delivered. It's been 4 months and it was delivered just a few days back, okay? So you can picture this already. Before I even start explaining more and more things about this, you know, they said 3 or 4 weeks and it's been 4 months, okay? So we've been incurring a lot of staff costs here. So obviously we grew from September, October, November, December. We had a slight pullback in January, but we had a record month here now in February as well. So you can probably imagine, you can probably think, like, we've had more and more costs. So when we agreed to buy that back in October, in early October, we expected to somewhat have this machine by mid-November. So you think anything from mid-November time, we've been having so much more costs in terms of staff members, so much more, and it's been not been like damaging in a sense of, oh, the business is going to crap now, but it's cost thousands and thousands of pounds, okay? So we agreed to buy the machine on early October, right? They say it's going to be 3 or 4 weeks. And then we also need some, like, you know, film for the machine and a few other spare things for the machine, right? Because the machine just doesn't, you know, make things up out of thin air, right? Products need to go into something, or you need to feed it with labels, for example. If you're going to go down that route, you need stuff for the machine. So we got some custom stuff for, you know, for that machine, which we paid £2,500 for. So we paid about £20,000 for the machine, and then £2,500 for the actual stuff for the machine, for it to actually function and things like this. That still hasn't been delivered right now to this day of recording this video. So yeah, that hasn't been delivered. So I gave them the benefit of the doubt. It was Q4. It was like, yeah, I gave them 6 or 7 weeks, and then I started thinking, oh, it's not even here yet. I've not even had any contact from these guys. So I was like, well, I need to sort of investigate this. I need to see what's going on. This isn't right. Why hasn't it been delivered? So this ended up being around the end of November. And this is really when things started to go south and south and south and south, okay? They didn't reply. They didn't pick up the phone. They didn't answer any emails, nothing for weeks, for a very, very long time. And then eventually one email came across my way. I asked so many questions because I needed to know how to clean this thing. I needed to know loads of health and safety stuff. I just needed loads of details from it, which they soon went quiet on as soon as the funds went into their account. So I received one email, and this was around early December, I think. And then they said, week commencing the 17th of December, that it's going to be delivered, it's going to be installed. And I was like, oh, finally. They've not been replying, but finally they're actually going to come and do it. Fantastic. I sort of forgave them for it. I mean, it's Q4. I was busy myself anyway. I wasn't thinking about it. So I was like, okay, fine. And then they cancelled that date. Okay, they cancelled that date. and they said can't do it. Gave no reason, no nothing. So they cancelled that date and said they can't do it. We're gonna have to do it early January. I was a bit annoyed at that, and I did say my thoughts to them, my concerns to them, and stuff like this. But I was like, right, fine, okay, whatever. Early Jan, we'll work with that, okay. We got to early Jan, so the first week of Jan, I sent a few emails across. Again, didn't really hear back until like the 5th email that I sent. And then they said, we're not doing it in Jan. The week commencing the 17th of February, which is when it was done. It was done a few weeks back. Well, the time of recording this is like the 21st, 22nd of February. So it was delivered a few days back, right? But they've delayed it 3 times, and that's been 4 months now, okay? But this is just the tip of the iceberg, okay? This is just the tip of the iceberg. So I've been trying to contact them and things like this multiple times to find out multiple details, which they have partially given me, very partially given me, right? Second of all, this is where it went even more south, right? They deliver the machine, okay? They deliver the machine. It comes on a shitty van. A terrible ass van. Maybe I'll put a picture on the machine, on the screen here. It came on a terrible van, only just fitting on there. After communication from the owner, he said it's going to be coming on a van. You will be able to bring it off on a tail lift. It was too tall. Like, it was literally, I kid you not, there was this much room from the roof of the van to the to the bottom. So to the bottom of the machine. So there's like this much room. And obviously, when you bring things onto a van, there's obviously like this much room between like the door and the shutter door. So they obviously got it on with a forklift. They pulled the van over. It was a small van. They pulled the curtain over and they obviously loaded it with a forklift. We have a pallet stacker here in the warehouse, but our company policy is not to really take that outside, and it was pissing down with rain, so I didn't want to take it outside in general. But I was told that there'll be a tail lift, okay? The guy didn't speak a word of English, and I was told on this day of delivery, they're going to be delivering it, they're going to be putting it together, installing it, and giving us some staff training. So therefore, I arranged staff. I arranged staff members to be there. I arranged staff members to be there at the warehouse, paid for them to be there, so they could see this training, because it's going to be very, very important for when they're operating the damn thing, right? The company that delivered it, it was an external company. It was a guy that hardly spoke English, and like one of our staff members was going to have a real go crazy at them. But I was like, look, leave it. He's obviously a third party. He's got nothing to do with this, unfortunately. Let's just leave it, okay? We're going to have to get in contact with them. So they didn't install it that day, right? They didn't install it. So I was calling them left, right, and center, emailing them, no answer. No answer, no answer, no answer, no answer, no answer. It's honestly terrible service. And again, this is only 50% of what's happened. Eventually, towards the end of the day, I got a call from the owner. Thank God for that. And he said, well, the installation is not going to be today. And I was like, what do you mean it's not going to be today? I literally was told by you that it's going to be today. It's going to be when the machine is delivered. And he said, no, you've got to speak to X person, which is another owner of the company. He's the one that's going to be installing it. I've got nothing to do with it, right? Even though I literally found out today he's the one that does the scheduling for the installations. So it's so annoying, okay? So he diverted me to that guy. I was speaking to him, and he said it's going to be next week on the Wednesday, which is like today. So it was meant to be today. This is why I'm recording this video. Sorry, it's the 26th today. So last week, after they delivered the machine, guess what? They sent me an invoice for £500, okay, for the delivery for the machine. 500 quid. And guess what? They didn't deliver the parts for the machine, which were extra, what the machine needs to function on, okay, which we paid £2,500 for. So they didn't deliver that. They didn't deliver certain parts of the machine as well, just only a couple very small parts of the machine. And also the machine's like pneumatic, right? So it needs air to run it. So it needs like an air compressor essentially to function. And they sold us the machine without an air compressor. So I proceeded to say to them, I was like, does this piece of machinery work without an air compressor? And they were like, no. Oh, so why? I was like, why'd you sell it to me then? Why did you sell it to me like something which it's like selling a remote control without any batteries, right? Why? Um, and they didn't really have any answers. So they sent me an invoice for an air compressor, and they're going to bring what they said they were going to bring one today on the Wednesday, and they also sent me the invoice for delivery, an extra £500 for the delivery of the actual machine itself. I said to them, I was like, look, that is pretty outrageous, ridiculous, but I was thinking to myself, I don't really have a leg to stand on. I was like, look, I'll pay the delivery, fine, no problem, whatever. But I will pay it when you come and install the machine on the Wednesday, on the 26th. I'll pay the delivery then when you've installed it and you've actually delivered all of the other parts which we've asked for, okay? When you've actually delivered it, and the stuff we've actually paid for, no problems. I'll pay it, fine, whatever. We're obviously serious. We've got a loan agreement out to buy your product, okay? So we're not beating around the bush. You're going to be there physical in person with us. We'll pay you, okay? They ignored that email, right? They ignored that email. They were very quick to send the invoice, extremely quick to send the delivery invoice and the invoice for the compressor. I paid for the air compressor because I was like, look, I'll pay for that. Yeah, fine. We do need it, and fine, whatever. I'd had enough at this point. I was like, yeah, I'll pay that, no problem, okay. And then you can dispatch it, and we'll pay for delivery of that if you need be as well. And they came. So it came to be Monday, which was must be the 24th if we're on the 26th now, and he said he will confirm a time with me for installing it today. He said that the week beforehand, so I was like messaging him, follow-up message on Monday, a couple follow-up messages just to see what time he's going to come, because again, paying for staff members to come here so they could see the training and stuff like this. So I managed to finally get in contact with him on the Tuesday, so the day before, and he says, we're not doing the installation. We are not doing the installation. You haven't paid the shipping invoice. And this is where it really, really turned the table for me and made a switch go in my brain and really annoyed me. And I'm very level-headed and I can keep my calm very, very well, but this flipped the switch, okay? And this just proved to me that they're being awkward, and they're being awkward on purpose, okay? They're not doing this by accident. This is purposeful. All it would have took is an email on Monday or Friday, the week before, saying, we will not come and do the installation unless this invoice is paid. They decided not to acknowledge that email that I sent to them. I said I will pay the invoice when you've done everything, when you've actually fulfilled your services. So they said they're not coming. So today they haven't come, they haven't done anything. And I lost my shit at them. I called them multiple times. They wouldn't answer the phone. I kid you not, I called her about 20 times in a row. I was like, dang, dial. And he eventually answered. He was so ignorant. And I was like, look, well, what's happening? He was like, well, you haven't paid your invoice. I was just like, well, did you not just read my email? So I was like, well, what's happening now then? And he said, well, until that invoice is paid, we can't do anything. So, I mean, I was just thinking about it. I was like, I could lose my shit even more. Like, I didn't really know what to do. So I was like, right, whatever, I'm going to pay you a freaking invoice. Entered the phone, paid the invoice, sent him a message, said that's paid for. And didn't hear back. Didn't really hear back. While I was on the phone to him, he said the next installation date possible is the 10th of March. Okay, now we have a lot of stock in the warehouse and a lot of stuff planned because it was supposed to be here and installed, last week. Okay, so we've got a lot of stock here. And if it's not going to be here till the 10th and stuff like this, installed, we need to learn how to use it. It's going to be towards the end of March now that it's fully up and running and up and operational. But we need stuff out this week. And it's essential. We're going to incur so much in staff wages, and I mean a hell of a lot more, even more than Q4. And also we may actually lose money on stock which we bought specifically for this and for a specific time of the year. So therefore we've had an absolute nightmare, and this is how we are losing pretty much tens of thousands of pounds since October from this specific situation. Now, that's like 75% of it. There's more to it than that. There's way more to it than that. But I mean, I've been rambling here for like 20 minutes, so I appreciate you watching if you're still watching right now. But it's put me in a tricky situation, and it's really fucked with me mentally. Like, I've lost over £10,000 in a month before back when I was like starting Amazon. But that was like completely and utterly just a stupid mistake on my part. Like I said, you do have to take responsibility for. I have to take responsibility for this. This is it kind of my fault, but this is a lot harder to say it's my fault, you know. So yeah, it's been tough. It's been pretty tough mentally. I will keep you all updated because I'm in contact with some solicitors at the moment, but I don't think much can come of it. But we'll see. We'll see what happens in terms of business. Like, we had a record month on the 11th or 12th of February, something like this, on the lead up to Valentine's Day. Things went absolutely wild. It was ridiculous, honestly. But we've had some really, really good days. Things are going amazing. We've settled into this warehouse. Look at this nice background, this backdrop. Like, things are going good. Things are going great here at the moment. We've got some fantastic opportunities underway, some loads of more private label products, a new business venture, all sorts of stuff. Like, things are going well, but like, and we're on top of everything, we're making money still. Like, we'll still be making money throughout the whole thing. But this is just, these types of things happen in business, right? And the biggest key takeaway for me in terms of this is really knuckle down on contracts. Contracts are key. If I had everything written down, because I don't have. The annoying thing is, right, I don't have much of a leg to stand on, even though I know what he said to me and things like this, and how long it would take for delivery, for these small things. I don't have it on a contract, and again, 4.5 years into business, I've still made a rookie mistake like that. It happens, and we rushed into it. We did rush into it because we needed it. We needed it ASAP, and obviously it's kind of gone there and bitten you in the foot. But it's all part of the process, right? I mean, it's a lesson. It's not going to happen again in the future. But yeah, I mean, I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you appreciate the honesty. I hope you appreciate the transparency. And I hope to see you all in future videos. Now I've gotten this off the chest, I feel a little bit better, and I feel like I will start pumping some more videos out, whether that be on YouTube or TikTok or Instagram. I do prefer the Instagram and TikTok content posting, to be honest with you, but who knows, you may see me a lot more on YouTube as well. But you will definitely see me a lot more on the Instagram and the TikTok, so make sure you give me a follow. The links are down below. Subscribe to this video and drop a comment down below as well if you're watching this here on YouTube. Thank you very much. See you soon.